Hi, my name is James Obey and welcome to Obey TV. Today we'll be talking about a topic, what could make or mark you in 3 years. Now take it slow. I understand the fact that people usually say what could make or mar you in 5 years. Now 5 years is a really long time, especially with the new technology that spring up every day here and there, and with the kind of change that happens on a global level, not even local level anymore, that has turned the whole world into more of a classroom than a, a country for that matter. Now, putting your life on a 5 year plan is a strategy that could make you obsolete. And I mean totally outdated. If you want to be relevant, especially in your field, in your life, in your business, you have to have a strategy that works towards that. And that is exactly what we're going to be discussing right now. There's so many things that influences us, especially when we're talking about being successful. Now, you cannot ignore the past, meaning your background, to some extent your educational level, to so many extent your spiritual growth. Those things are all part and parcel that contribute to your success. But today, we're talking about something totally different. And I am going to be taking them from the least important to the most important. Therefore, we'll be counting down from number four. Now, what is number four? Friends. Mm, yeah, the kind of company you keep says a lot about you. Show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are. Beside, birds of same feather flocks together. Not necessarily. Sometimes you find yourself by circumstances in a group of friends that life just pulls you together. I'm not saying you should stay there. You have to make a choice. Now, you cannot decide your family members. You cannot choose where you will be born or to which family you will be born into. But of course, you have every say over the kind of friends you have. There's nothing wrong in, okay, this is the kind of friends I want. These are the kind of friends I do not want. Also, there's nothing wrong in saying, oh, we've been friends for a really long time. But right now, I'm on a different level and I have to find like mind. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you're not going to be rejected or feel or made to feel bad. But now we're talking about what is going to make you the person you want to be in 3 years. Some decisions are going to be really, really difficult. And this is one of them, especially when you've been friends with them for such a long time. They know you inside out. You know them so well. They know how to push your buttons. They know the right words to say. But if the friendship is not serving you, trust me, you don't want to keep them. That's number four. Number three, I'll be talking about books. Now, this is my favorite topic in the whole wide world. I love to read. I love to write. I love to think about words. I believe words are the most important things in the whole wide world. Music, movie, business, construction, communication is key. And you would definitely agree with me that relationship, do I even need to talk about that? I don't think so. Books are words that can form or ruin your life. I'm one person that loves to read oldies. Well, I'm old school, I know that. But I love to read books from the 1800s, the 1900s, because I believe those were the introduction into knowledge as we know it now. And they're so authentic and so genuinely raw in their genius. And when you read them, you wonder how could it be so relevant today? They're so profound. There's no reason to show off or try to say we're knowledgeable. They were just people who genuinely were going after knowledge. Now, books after books, podcast after podcast, video after video, there are things that would change your life in them. Now, there's the saying that that books are. Now, let's talk about number three. Number three will be books. There's no one successful person that is not addicted to reading. In fact, it is one of the most important habits they have to develop in order to be where they are in life. Now, you do not just sit down and admire somebody for how charismatic they are or how wealthy they are without understanding the things and the time they have put into becoming that person. And most successful people in their secret places are readers. Now, it is said that Warren Buffett reads 5 hours every day. I mean, this man invest 5 hours into reading. It is also said that Bill Gates read at least one book a week, and we all know about Oprah Winfrey. At least, even if you're not part of a book club, you've heard about it. She loves to read. She loves to learn from people, and there's no better way to learn than to read from other people, learn from their experiences. They've been there. Most of them have gone through the things you're going through, and they have learn one or two things that have helped them, overcome, whether it's a bad habit, whether it's running a business, whether it's running a successful family. And instead of going through the process yourself, you could learn from them and then even do it better, which is why books are one of the most important things ever. But even now, much more, I understand the fact that not everybody likes to read. I love to read books. In fact, I love to touch pages. Like, I know Kindle and Amazon has make life so easy, but I just like the idea of flipping through pages. But if you do not like to read, or books just makes you bored, you could listen to podcasts, you could listen to YouTube. There's so many motivational video on YouTube that will pump you up and just make you feel so jacked up you want to run out of the door and go fulfill your dreams. Now, it doesn't have to be letters, it could be words, and words are like the most important things in whatsoever you want to do. You have to use it to your advantage. You have to read, read, read. You have to keep learning. The day you stop to learn is the day you begin to die, whether dying in the mind or dying physically. And the only way to keep yourself alive, soul and body, trust me, is by reading. Now, let's talk about number two. Number two will be your thought. We all know how important our thoughts are. The thoughts are like seed. Throw them on a good soil. You don't even have to water them. They kind of find nutrients for themselves and grow. They struggle so hard to break through the ground and then begin to germinate. The same way for your thoughts. They are so embedded in you that you hardly give them a thought. Like, who thinks about what they think about except when you make conscious effort? If I ask you what are you thinking about now, you have to catch yourself for a moment and be like, okay, and then you tell me something. But that is how autopilot our thoughts are, yet they are so important. You have to be mindful what you think, because what you think produces what you say, and what you say to yourself kind of manifests in your life. Even sometimes there are things you do not say, but because of the efficacy of the power working through them, they kind of just show up and you're like, but I didn't say that out. How did that happen? Your thoughts are really powerful, and you have to be mindful that as much as they are powerful, then you have to be conscious about them as well. You cannot leave your thought to be like a fallow garden where that is not attended to. Because when you plant a garden and you leave it for a while, somehow weeds begin to show up for all over the places. And if you leave the weeds to keep growing on their own accord alongside the fruits that you have planted, they kind of squish them and drain the life out of them because they are sharing the same nutrient, and because they are very aggressive, they crush your seed and then you do not have enough result. That is the same way your thought is. If you leave your, our mind is prone to be negative. You just think boom. I'm like, oh no, that's not right. But we're prone to be negative in our thought, except when we train and retrain our mind to think positive thought and see positive things around us and in things consciously. You have to tame your thought. Learn to tame your thought. And you can only learn to tame your thought by the things you put inside of you. And that takes us to the books that you read and the companies that you keep, which is why it is the second thing on my list. Now, to the number one grand finale. Number one will be, what do you do with number four, three, and two? It doesn't matter if you have great friends, you can lose them. You can find another one. You can lose bad friends or find good friends. It doesn't matter the amount of books you read. You could read 50 books in a year, or um, research shows that an average CEO reads 250 books. You might be reading 350 or 500 books in a year because you read, you learn how to speed read, or you know how to read really fast, and you have this amazing mind that absorb information and all those genius things, and your thought might be power, and oh my god, you're always positive, you're always pumped, you're a very optimistic person. There's nothing anybody can say that can ever catch you unawares. You are so right on point. But if you do not apply these things to your life, nothing is going to change. 4 years from now, 3 years from now, you realize you're still on the same spot because you have not been able to use all the information, all the tools, all the skills that you have developed from all those things happening around your life. So if you have good friends, if you read books, if your thought is on par, but you do not absorb them enough to apply them to your life, it is of no use to you. It is of no use to you, and it would not benefit anyone around you. Now, let me read a quote from Patton Hood that says, "Be as careful of books you read as of the companies you keep, for your habit and character will be as much influenced by the former as by the latter." Now, your character and your habits will be formed by the friends you keep, by the book you read. Now, we can actually say in this context that your character and habit is your thought, right? Or let me rephrase that. We can actually say that your character is your thought, and the habits are the things you do with what you have learned. So I hope you've learned something from this broadcast. Let me know what you think. Please comment below and subscribe if you have fun with me. And I look forward to seeing you soon.